My replicants are the perfect slaves. They simply obey. Bring it to me. We have to stop.
This is a war.
What's the plan? It's time. Humanity must come to an end. Guess we're about to find out.
Blade Runner 2049, rated R. Experience it in IMAX.
The modern man values tradition, like craftsmanship, hard work, and confidence. He isn't afraid to get his hands dirty, or pink. He always makes a good first impression. And he never sits down on the job. At Joseph A. Bank, we create classic menswear tailored for the modern man. Because looking good is a tradition that never goes out of style.
What's most impressive about the GLC? All depends on your point of view. The 2018 GLC, Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
The running of the Bulldogs? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Aaliyah saved by switching to Geico.
On this first night of October, downtown Seattle is buzzing, and 67,000 will fill every seat at CenturyLink Field as the Seahawks gear up to take on the Colts on Sunday Night Football.
Stand up and cheer, stomp your feet, start clapping. NBC Sunday night about to happen. America's game been waiting all day. Colts and the Hawks have come to play. Our Christmas shell, turn it up. It's the NFL, can't get enough. We got a battle tonight, a winner take all, ain't nothing like Sunday night football. It's out of control. Get set, let's go. The clock's winding down. Let's rock and roll. Stand up and cheer, stomp your feet, start clapping. NBC Sunday night about to happen. Hits keep coming and the lights keep flashing. Come on, get ready for the action. Sunday night, Sunday night. Sunday night, Sunday night. Sunday night, Sunday night, Sunday night.
Welcome to the NFL's equivalent of a boombox. CenturyLink Field in Seattle, appropriately the home of the Seahawks Legion of Boom. And the site of a Week 4 matchup tonight as the Seahawks, led by Russell Wilson, are all set to face the new kid on the Indianapolis block, Jacoby Brissett and the Colts on Sunday Night Football. Now, Michael's Chris Nosworth, Michelle before you. Well, as usual, the Seahawks off to a slow start. They're 1-2, 2 road losses. But if you think that there is gloom or doom here in Seattle, there is none, because they have the eternal optimist as their head coach, the ever optimistic Pete Carroll, who always thinks his team is ready to rock and roll. He thinks they are tonight. Meanwhile, the Colts are also 1-2. They're waiting for Andrew Luck to come back. Had shoulder surgery last season, hasn't practiced yet. Is about ready to practice, think he can be back by sometime this month. Meanwhile, the placeholder is Jacoby Brissett, who they traded for with New England on the eve of the season. He was the number 3 quarterback under Bill Belichick. He makes his 3rd consecutive start tonight, and he's got to play in this atmosphere. So 2 things, if you can hear me, Chris.
Barely.
Yeah, number 1, what do you think of Brissett so far? And how can the Colts pull off a big upset tonight?
I like Jacoby Brissett. I watched him last week against the Browns, and they threw every blitz imaginable. This poor kid. I thought he held up really well. And for the Colts, I think their defensive line has really improved. They brought guys in from everywhere, and I think they're a little bit better, a little tougher up front now, and they get their best defensive player back in Vontae Davis. They're ready for tonight.
We've been coming here for a lot of years under Pete Carroll, and it's almost like no matter what's happening, a what me worry attitude. Should they be worried?
A little bit worried. You know, this offensive line is still sort of a work in progress, and Russell Wilson really hasn't gotten it going yet. Even the defense, as great as they have been over the past few years, giving up a lot of big plays. But you know as well as I do, this is usually when Seattle gets it going, and you would expect the same here tonight.
Beautiful night, about 60 degrees and dry in the Pacific Northwest. It's the Colts, it's the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football.
Kayak can't search hundreds of haircuts to find the best one.
No.
But it can search hundreds of travel sites to find the best flight, hotel, or rental car.
Huh? Oh, you look great. Yeah, I knew it.
Compare hundreds of travel sites at once. Kayak. Search one and done.
No one knows where it comes from. Why some have it and some don't. It's the fighting spirit. It consumes fear and weakness. It stands ready to fight whatever shape the battle takes. Because as long as there are battles, there will always be Marines.
I have a mystery that I'd like to solve in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong? There was a gas main explosion.
You just keep believing that. We built this system of satellites to control the weather. But someone's turned the system against us.
They're trying to change the map of the world.
3, 2, I've got you.
Geostorm, rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX 3D.
The modern man values tradition, like craftsmanship, hard work, and confidence. He isn't afraid to get his hands dirty, or pink. He always makes a good first impression. And he never sits down on the job. At Joseph A. Bank, we create classic menswear tailored for the modern man. Because looking good is a tradition that never goes out of style.
Introducing Wendy's new Giant Junior Bacon Cheeseburger.
It's a Giant Junior?
Yeah, it's a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger with double the fresh, never frozen beef, bacon, and cheese. So it's made a big name for itself. For a limited time, get the Giant JBC meal for just $5.
NBC Sports, home of Super Bowl 52, welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
And now, to perform our national anthem, award-winning singer-songwriter Brian James.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Different statements at the games around the league today. As far as we could tell, all of the Colts stood, and you saw a few of the Seahawks, including Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill, who took a seat. All right, we go to the field now. Check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Al, on Friday, the Seahawks announced the Players Equality and Justice for All Action Fund, which will actively and financially support organizations that are educational and leadership in nature that are working for social change. Now, during the week, both of these organizations had encounters with military veterans demonstrating outside their practice facilities. Michael Bennett, who stopped to talk to the vets, told me to have them understand me and me understand them was very emotional. In Indianapolis, the veterans were invited inside to meet with some players, including Darius Butler, whose father and brother both served in the military. Butler, who had knelt during the anthem in the past but stood tonight, told me there was respectful dialogue with the veterans and ultimately a better understanding of each other. Now, Al, both of these teams made it very clear to us their intention is not to disrespect the flag, the anthem, or the military, but that as NFL players, they believe they have a platform to speak for those who can't speak for themselves, Al.
And Michelle, the Colts used that platform. They came out with T-shirts that said, "We will," on the front. The entire team, the entire coaching staff, equality, justice, unity, respect, dialogue, opportunity on the back, and the entire team, players, coaches, staff, all came out with those shirts. Meanwhile, here is the tradition here, the 12th man flag. Courtney Kennedy, who is the daughter of Cortez Kennedy, who passed away this year, waving the towel, helping along with Walter Jones and Steve Largent, getting this crowd all riled up, which they always do. Flapping in the breeze, Indianapolis gets the opening kickoff. Blair Walsh will send it down a yard into the end zone. Quan Bray, and he will be hogtied at the 9-yard line. Tanner McAvoy, great stop on special teams. Let's take a look at the Indy offense.
Jacoby Brissett, North Carolina State.
Frank Gore, the U.
T.Y. Hilton, FIU. Dante Moncrief, Ole Miss. Kamar Aiken, Central Florida.
Jack Doyle, Western Kentucky.
Anthony Costanzo, Boston College.
Jeremy Vinovich, Louisiana College.
Deshaun Bond, Warren Central Warriors.
Jack Muhort, The Ohio State University.
Joe Haig, North Dakota State.
Can that offensive line produce some holes for the running game? Can they protect Brissett? Each team has offensive line issues coming into this one. Frank Gore is the running back. Longtime 49er, 13th year in the league. They hand it to him. Looks for a crease, picks up about 4 up to the 13-yard line. Jacoby Brissett, picked in the 3rd round by New England. So he goes there last year. Tom Brady is suspended. Jimmy Garoppolo starts a couple of games, gets hurt. Brissett comes in, wins a game against Houston, then he gets hurt in a loss to Buffalo. He's the number 3 quarterback in training camp. And a couple of days before the season was to start, they made the trade. Phil Dorsett, the receiver, goes to New England. Brissett comes here. Last week, 3 touchdowns for him, 2 on the ground and 1 through the air. 4-man rush, and Brissett will get it away as he was about to get sacked. Durant Reed comes in and had his arms around him, and he gets it away. It's 3rd down and 6.
One thing you do not get is a free pass in the middle of the field here against the Seahawks. Watch as these receivers come through the middle of the field tonight, and you'll see that first easy look is not much of an easy look.
And what's not easy right now is the center, Deshaun Bond, who is taking the place of Ryan Kelly, who is their regular center but is hurt. So that is Bond, who is a rookie out of Cincinnati and has been doing a pretty decent job in that interior. So an offensive line that has all kinds of issues now has another one.
Jaron Reed's going to push him straight back, but then he also stepped on the foot of Jeremy Vunovich, his own teammate, number 67, and is still down. And Al, you talked about it. It's one thing to go to a rookie as a backup for one of your best players in Ryan Kelly. It's another thing to go to a third center at this point in the game in this stadium.
And that third center is the guard, Adam Redmond. Back after this.
No one knows where it comes from. Why some have it and some don't. It's the fighting spirit. It consumes fear and weakness. It stands ready to fight whatever shape the battle takes. Because as long as there are battles, there will always be Marines.
My replicants are the perfect slaves. They simply obey. Bring it to me. We have to stop.
This is a war.
What's the plan? It's time. Humanity must come to an end. Guess we're about to find out.
Blade Runner 2049, rated R. Experience it in IMAX.
The modern man values tradition, like craftsmanship, hard work, and confidence. He isn't afraid to get his hands dirty, or pink. He always makes a good first impression. And he never sits down on the job. At Joseph A. Bank, we create classic menswear tailored for the modern man. Because looking good is a tradition that never goes out of style.
Bridgestone Drive Guard tires are engineered to come through in the clutch. Let's go. And NFL coach John, Bridgestone Drive Guard tires are engineered to come through in the clutch. Let's go. And NFL coach John Gruden is going to help us prove it.
I got this. Okay, tires. If you take a hit, you got to get back up.
John.
You better kick it up a notch and get us home. There's always going to be nails on the road to victory, but you keep on going.
Actually, Drive Guard tires can take a puncture and drive up to 50 miles to safety.
50 miles?
Yep.
Guess my pep talk worked.
Sure.
So they took Bond on the cart back to the dressing room. Adam Redmond, a guard by trade, played at Harvard, and you wonder how many snaps, if any, Redmond has had with Brissett.
None in a game, I can tell you that.
That's for sure. Even in practice, with Brissett only having been there for 3 weeks. So it's 3rd down and 6. And Brissett fires and caught up at the 24-yard line. They go to the money man. That's T.Y. Hilton. 7 catches for over 150 yards last week in the game against Cleveland.
Well, it's interesting right off the bat. T.Y. Hilton, who's obviously the best receiver for the Colts, and we're not seeing Richard Sherman flip to him. And it was T.Y. Hilton who in the last matchup with the Seahawks had a big day. So we'll see if that continues with Shaq Griffin in the nickel staying on T.Y. Hilton if they choose to leave him that way.
From the 24, play action. Brissett buys time. Line does a great job, and the pass is broken up. T.Y. Hilton, the intended receiver. Sherman is there. Let's take a look at the Seattle D.
Michael Bennett, A-Leaf Taylor High School.
Jaron Reed, Alabama.
Sheldon Richardson, Mizzou. Cliff Averill, Boilermaker.
Michael Will Hoyt, Washburn University.
Bobby Wagner, D, Utah State.
KJ Wright, Mississippi State.
Richard Sherman, Stanford. Cam Chancellor, Virginia Tech. Earl Thomas, DBU, Texas.
Jeremy Lane, John Tyler High.
Can't miss Richard Sherman, 7th year in the league. Lining up this time on Aiken, one-on-one. 2nd down and 10. And Frank Gore takes the inside handoff for a gain of 1 to the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 9. Bennett is there to stop him. Chuck Pagano, the Indy coach, in his 6th season at the helm.
All right, here we go with Michael Bennett. And, of course, anytime you start with this defense, you start with Michael Bennett. And Anthony Costanzo, without question, is the best run blocker on this Colt offensive line, but the quickness so many times have been at just too much for offensive linemen.
There's Andrew Luck on the sideline. Missing another one. This is the 4th game of the year for these guys. They run some stunts up front. The pass has gotten away, but that won't be close to a first down as Dante Moncrief gets taken back by a couple of Seahawks, including Griffin and Sherman. So 4th and 8.
And over on the sideline is Jeremy Lane, who is the starting cornerback. And so now they move Shaquille Griffin, who is typically the nickel cornerback, into play some more, at least for now.
New punter is Rigoberto Sanchez. Pat McAfee did a great job through the years, retired. Sanchez played his college ball at Hawaii. Has to reach down for the snap, and then the kick is a fairly short one, and Seattle's going to have pretty good field position as they will mark the ball up by the 37-yard line. Hawks take it there. Let's meet them.
Russell Wilson from a whole pack of Badgers.
Chris Carson, Oklahoma State.
Doug Baldwin, Stanford University. Paul Richardson, Sarah High School.
Tyler Lockett, Kansas State.
Jimmy Graham, the U.
Reese Obiombo, Boise State.
Luke Jokel, Texas A&M.
Justin Britt, LHS, MIZ.
Ode Ibushi, Wahoo.
Jermaine Ifedi, Giga Maggies.
So the rookie Carson is the running back. And take a look at him as he gets smacked at the line of scrimmage. But he has taken over with a team that has Eddie Lacy and Thomas Rawls. Rawls is a healthy scratch tonight, and Carson has won the starting job, at least for the moment.
Yeah, and he is the one they're all talking about right now. I mean, basically, we've heard from several people, including Russell Wilson, that thinks he could be a Rookie of the Year candidate.
2nd down and 10. And they give it to Lacy, the former Green Bay Packer, for a very short game. It'll be 3rd and long. So Russell Wilson now in his 6th season from a whole pack of Badgers, as he said, but before that North Carolina State. 5 TDs and no interceptions. So the numbers are pretty good. But this is a team that didn't score a touchdown until the 8th quarter of the season. And then last week a couple of TDs at the end as they tried to catch up but couldn't take over in the game at Tennessee. Titans won it. And the Seahawks come in 1-2. 3rd down and 8. And Wilson goes deep downfield, and it will be caught at the 31-yard line. Doug Baldwin, and he was a bit of a question because of an ankle injury sustained last week. Looks sharp on that one. Beats Vontae Davis 28 yards.
Premier matchup of the night right there. You've got the great Doug Baldwin. Look at that move on Vontae Davis. Those two guys will be highlighting that one throughout the course of the evening. Round 1 to Baldwin.
Already Baldwin's 21st catch of the season. Wilson fires to the left side. It's Baldwin again. This time the other way. Taken down by Melvin. Let's take a look at the Indy defense.
Henry Anderson, Stanford.
Al Woods, LSU.
Jonathan Hankins, The Ohio State University.
John Simon, Ohio State.
Antonio Morrison, Florida.
John Bostic, Florida.
Ball Sheard, University of Pittsburgh.
Rashawn Melvin, Northern Illinois University.
Malik Hooker, The Ohio State University.
Matthias Farley, Notre Dame.
Vontae Davis, Illinois.
Hooker, their top draft choice out of Ohio State. They run the end around here with Tyler Lockett looking for space. And he's taken down at the 28-yard line.
You see a little bit more out of this with the Seahawks now, this 3 tight end look. And I get the feeling that Pete Carroll and Darrell Bevel are trying to just help the edges a little bit. You're seeing Jimmy Graham block maybe more than he ever has in his career, although flanked out here, because both tackles a few issues.
Meanwhile, the Seahawks huddle about 2.5 to 3 yards from the line of scrimmage. Wilson must be whispering. 3rd and 4. And Russell seeks that first down but won't get it. John Simon able to run him out of bounds a couple of yards shyly. 4th down for Seattle on their first drive.
Interesting that the Colts, who like a lot of different pressure looks, that time rushed only 3. And you could tell that Wilson was trying to get the ball right away to Doug Baldwin. Didn't like it for some reason. I thought he had an opportunity there. Started scrambling. And now have to settle for the field goal.
44-yard attempt. Their new kicker is Blair Walsh, the former Minnesota Viking, to try to give them the lead. And he is able to do that. 6 minutes into the game on Sunday Night Football. 3-0 Seattle.
My replicants are the perfect slaves. They simply obey. Bring it to me. We have to stop.
This is a war.
What's the plan? It's time. Humanity must come to an end. Guess we're about to find out.
Blade Runner 2049. Rated R. Experience it in IMAX.
Welcome to the outside. You don't need a passport to come here or a membership to belong here. Just step outside and you've arrived. Because on the inside, we're all outsiders. And if it's outside, we're all in. LL Bean, be an outsider.
Nationwide is on your side. What you think?
We're almost there. On the jingle, though, Brad, I want to feel it right here.
Right here in the chest?
No, your heart.
Heart.
In your heart. Yes! Close. Close. We're almost there. Almost.
Well, basically got it, right?
Basically almost, but you're doing great.
What did I just get into? Nothing.
When you look at the Mercedes-Benz GLC, with its high-tech cameras and radar, contemporary cockpit, 360-degree network of driver-assist technologies, and sporty performance, what's most impressive about the GLC? All depends on your point of view. The 2018 GLC, starting at $40,050. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Sunday Night Football being brought to you by BMW. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. By Coca-Cola, zero sugar. Real Coca-Cola taste, zero sugar, 0 calories. By ExxonMobil, learn more at energyfactor.com. And by Verizon, the best network and the best unlimited. Seahawks all arriving here at CenturyLink Field. Second home game of the season for them. They beat San Francisco here 2 weeks ago.
They all come in slow motion.
Very, very slow. Came in listening to Enya on their headphones. Touchback. Well, the degree of difficulty here for Brissett going from New England to the Colts and trying to learn the offense terminology, like going from a chef in a classic French restaurant to one in a sushi restaurant, being a professor who teaches Greek philosophy, switching to advanced calculus. How about a mechanic who works on European sports cars, to one who repairs American pickup trucks. How about broadcasting football to rocket science?
Me doing play-by-play, any of those things. But, you know, and now you add the degree of difficulty. You switch centers at the end of this whole process in this crowd against this defense.
Yep. So Brissett takes the high snap. And it's Frank Gore to the 29-yard line. So not only are you learning a new offense, I mean, you walk into a locker room and you have to introduce yourself to the guys. And then the terminology and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and Brissett saw it a week ago because defensive coordinators, you have a young quarterback, you have some questions on that offensive line, and the Browns just threw every blitz imaginable at him. And he actually held up pretty well against all that pressure. But now you add the crowd noise because he really has not started a game on the road yet.
You saw Brian Schottenheimer on the sideline. He is in the headset and wide open and making the catch and taking the ball and riding the Seahawks with him to the 39 is Brandon Williams. So that stuns the crowd. Chancellor blitzed and he got it away, did Brissett, for a gain of 32.
Anytime you have a single safety in the middle of the field, teams love those seam routes up the seam. But watch Brissett here. That's what you saw a week ago. In the face of all the pressure, he just stood in there and made throws. Now, he is not Tom Brady, but he was trained by him, so he understands what his responsibility is, and sometimes it's to take a hit.
Sure was. Spent a whole season last year backing him up. Here's Gore, gain of 3. We go to Michelle.
Well, Brissett's rookie center, Deshaun Bond, is out with a knee injury. Also out, guys, starting corner Jeremy Lane. He's got a hip injury, so that secondary takes a big hit, guys.
It does. And with Lane out, that means we'll probably see more of Shaq Griffin, who's number 26. And there he is.
So now you wonder if you try and go a little more 3 wide receiver stuff to force them to put another corner out there that's not used to playing as much.
Instead, just 2 here, left and right. Movement is up front to some action. And we're going to get our first flag of the game. Referee tonight is Brad Allen.
Jaron Reed saying he's flexing the ball. Center's going to put his left hand up.
False start. Offense number 61. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Again, Redmond, a guy who goes from backup guard to center because of the injury to Bond.
You know, he had plenty of experience, though, in the preseason. 173 snaps, and most of those 123 coming at the center position. But again, the issue was that Brissett wasn't on the team at that time.
Right. Second and 12. Well, he wants the ball. That play clock goes to 1. Fake the Gore to the outside. Aiken, the former Baltimore Raven, for a very short gain. It'll be third down. Earl Thomas makes the tackle. 3rd and 9 upcoming.
Now you got the communication. Brissett calling for the ball. Redmond having no idea. Finally, you could see the left guard, Unovich, reach over and tap him. He snapped the ball. And meanwhile, that whole thing's going on. Here comes Earl Thomas flying out of the middle of the field to make a play. Even for a Harvard guy, this is a tough opening act in this joint.
3rd and 8. Again, stopping, and here they come. And was a movement up front. Already had 1 false start.
You can see the left guard, Jeremy Vunovich, having to tap the right leg of Adam Redmond in order to have the snap take place because simply can't hear it.
5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
And Redmond, you've got all the silent counts. You have all the stuff that you have to work in this stadium. And here's a guy that probably took a couple of snaps all week in practice and is trying to basically do this on the fly now. I mean, just getting the snap count is something that they're going to have to figure out. And it was something Brissett had a tough time with Deshaun Bond. They spent a couple of weeks working on that.
Crowd in full throw it again on a 3rd and 13. Brissett, he's mobile and starts to stumble, and at the 35-yard line he is out of bounds. Tapped him harder this time.
Yeah, he's going to end up with a bruise on his right cheek here, or left cheek, because he can't hear. And I mean, we know from our opening on camera, you can't hear what's going on half the time.
Nothing. Meanwhile, that is Cliff Averill, who is in agony. The stellar defensive end, who I think was in on the tackle, flexing his hands. Averill is able to grab him by the left leg, loses the balance, and
looked like
the
heel
on the
came
ground.
up and sort of kicked him in the chin or something.
So Clark comes over to check him out. And it will be 4th and 7 at the 36-yard line when we come back.
I have a mystery that I'd like to solve in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong? There was a gas main explosion.
Yeah, you just keep believing that. We built this system of satellites to control the weather. But someone's turned the system against us.
They're trying to change the map of the world.
3, 2, I've got you.
Geostorm, rated PG-13. Experience it in IMAX 3D.
The autumn carved turkey is back for a limited time at Subway. So much turkey.
WeatherTech floor liners and cargo liners are built to catch everything. So what gets in the liner stays in the liner till you wash it out. Laser measured to perfectly protect your vehicle front, back, and even up the sides. Order your complete vehicle protection at WeatherTech.com. WeatherTech, as American as football.
Lucky for me, there's some great golf here in the Carolinas. Whether you golf or not, Geico could help you score some great savings on car insurance. Whoa! Oh, all in one.
Go to Geico.com today.
All right, Jimmy Fallon, the Tonight Show all week long. Taraji P. Henson will be there, along with the voices Miley Cyrus, among others. Tonight Show. So Sanchez comes in to punt. They give up the opportunity to kick a 54-yard field goal. And Sanchez's boot will bounce at the 7. And did they keep it in? They do at the 1-yard line. Kenny Moore was able to down it at the 1-yard line.
Lano Hill is going to make the play on the goal line and just tap it back. I'm sorry, Kenny Moore making the play and get it back into the field of play before that foot hit down. If it had hit down with the ball in his hand, would not.
So a great play by the special teams. Backs him up to the 1-yard line, looking for space. Can he get out of the end zone as Eddie Lacy has to power forward for no gain and saves 2 points.
See just how close he gets. Remember, the entire ball has to get beyond the far side of that line, and it clearly does.
Just does with that second effort. So it'll be 2nd down and 10. 4:20 to go, opening quarter. 3-0 Seahawks. Lacy remains in as the back. Lacy finds a crease there over the right side, takes it to the 5-yard line. 3rd and 5. So ever since Marshawn Lynch left, the Seahawks have gone through a few backs. Christian Michael looked like the guy. Then Thomas Rawls looked like the guy. He's a healthy scratch tonight. Lacy comes over from Green Bay, but he was a healthy scratch last week. And of course, we talked about Chris Carson, who we figured to see a lot of, their 7th round draft choice.
Might see a little bit of J.D. McKissick as well, a lightning quick guy who's played a lot of wide receiver here too.
And he's in there right now because they do go 5 wide, and they go 4 by 1 now with Baldwin sitting on the left side. Wilson out of the end zone. Wilson goes down just before He takes the sack, and he just does get it away. Nate Hairston comes in from the corner. So a great defensive series for the Colts, who pin him at the 1, and now they should get the ball with decent field position.
Interesting. Did this knee hit down before the ball came out? That's the question. Ooh.
Oh, baby, look at this.
Good pressure by Hairston.
Does the ball come out?
Yeah, they threw the flag. You see Pagano, he's throwing it out there.
Yeah, he has to. He hears from upstairs. You got to take a look at this. That if that knee is down and the ball is still in his hand, it's going to be 3-2.
And when you've got an offense that is going to struggle, you're for sure going to challenge that one.
Mm-hmm.
There's the knee on the ground and the ball in his hand.
Indianapolis is challenging the ruling on the field that the quarterback was not down in the end zone. We'll review the play.
And Hairston clearly made contact to get him to that position. You have all the elements.
They'll bring the tablet out to Brad Allen. He'll get on the horn with Al Riveron in New York. And we think it'll be a safety.
Down and ball in hand. Pagano now seeing it on the big screen for the first time, and he's feeling a lot better about throwing that red flag.
Because normally you're going to get the call, the challenge from one of your assistants upstairs who's able to see the play, see whatever video is available to him. Then he throws the flag. That's what they're looking at right now in New York.
So knee off, knee down, ball in hand.
Yep. The one thing about the ball has to be in his control, is what the rule book says about this. The ball can't be coming out. If it's coming out, it's an incomplete pass. If it's in control, and that's pretty close here. So I mean, Allen can parse it in that regard. The knee is down. The ball looks like it's coming up. Does he have control? We call it a safety.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field has been changed. The quarterback's knee was down in the end zone with control of the ball in his hand. Therefore, we have a safety. There will now be a safety kick.
So it's 3-2 Seattle.
Right. I ain't with the back and forth, I ain't back and forth. Don't know what you asking for, but just back and forth. But this your man still back at home, he ain't that important like that. You ain't really seen it like that before, not like that before. You like, when you put it like that, like that, like that, like that, you right. If you think you got it like that, when I act like that, all right.
10:26 to go in the fourth. Second down and 10 at the New England 22.
Yes!
J-E-T-S, yes, yes, yes! My replicants are the perfect slaves. They simply obey. Bring it to me.
We have to stop.
This is a war.
What's the plan? It's time.
Humanity must come to an end.
Guess we're about to find out.
Blade Runner 2049. Rated R. Experience it in IMAX.
Jim has had a rough life. Jim has had a rough life. His third wife ran off with his second wife. His daughter's first words were, "This isn't working, Jim." Tornadoes chase him. During a near-death experience, someone else's life flashed before his eyes. But Jim feels like a champion because he's eating tasty, protein-powered, wonderful pistachios. And when you feel better about your snacks, you feel better about yourself.
Well, the entire NFL family committed to relief efforts for those suffering from natural disasters. We invite all of you across the country to Join us in a huddle for relief. You can visit redcross.org/NFL or text Maria to 90999 now to donate $10 to the American Red Cross efforts for relief. So it's 3-2. Now you've got a free kick from the 20-yard line. John Ryan will put it in the air. Quan Bray back to accept it. Bray backs up, fields at the 15-yard line. And Bray, nice run back. 21-yard return up to the 36. That's where Indy takes over.
You may have heard about the 12th man and 12 here in Seattle and the noise as they scream in the huddle to try to be heard, and they have a new center who's going to get tapped and a leg kick pumped. There's a little comedy to this as they're pumping legs and tapping butts and all the different things that go into this thing just to get the ball snapped.
There was Pagano on the sideline with his new center. Going to be joined us late. There's center Deshaun Bond, the rookie, hurt first series. So a backup guard comes in to spell him. Meanwhile, Brissett to the outside he goes, and then is caught there by Jack Doyle for a short gain, second down. And we go to Michelle.
Well, you saw defensive end Cliff Averill walk off the field. He went into the medical tent where he was tended to by the medical staff and the unaffiliated neurotrauma consultant. He then went back to the locker room. He is questionable with a neck injury, so add him to cornerback Jeremy Lane. Two key parts of the defense, Al, are
Two very key guys. Frank Clark is in his spot. Normally they move them in and out. That line shifting around. Gore looks for room and finds none. There is Frank Clark, the aforementioned one, is able to stop him. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, and Frank Clark had 10 sacks a season ago, so it's not like you're going to miss that much coming around the official here. Jumping over and making a play on Gore. So plenty of athletes on this defensive line. What you lose, though, is the ability to substitute and keep those guys fresh.
They ran out of gas last week in Tennessee where it was 90 degrees. Tonight it's 57. Robert Turbin comes in, the former Seahawk, in the backfield. And the pass is incomplete. Thrown into traffic. Aiken is there, covered by Shaquille Griffin, 4th down.
Nicely done by Griffin, who's been moved into a starting role now with the injury to Jeremy Lane. All over that one. Maybe the throw a bit behind. You'll remember Kamar Aiken had nearly 1,000 yards a couple years ago for the Ravens.
So Rigoberto Sanchez, already his 3rd punt. The last one was downed at the 1 and led to the safety. This is an end-over-end kick that bounces backward and is downed at the 24-yard line with 2 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the opening quarter.
Well, whether you're going to the coffee shop or out on the football field, it's been Russell Wilson under pressure. And really, since he's gotten here, there has not been a season yet that he hasn't been at least the 4th most pressured, if not higher, of any quarterback in the National Football League. And it's not like of his own doing. He has had the most pressures in 2 seconds or less of any quarterback, so they're getting there very quickly.
This time it's a straight drop, holds the ball a little bit longer, throws to Carson over the middle. Carson takes it to the 33. You know, we've talked about it so many times when we have Seattle. They spent so much money from the salary cap on defense. They've had to, pay some high-profile offensive players as well. So who pays the price? The offensive line.
Clearly, and I think that has been what, and plus now Russell Wilson had to be paid, and early in his career you didn't have to pay him, that this is a defensive-oriented team that has to make it up sometimes on that offensive line.
Meanwhile, there's Carson, played his college ball at Oklahoma State. It's by Jabal Sheard. Yards short of the first, 3rd and 1 with a minute and a half to go in the quarter.
Watch this move back inside here by Jabal Sheard going against Odiombo, and that's been part of the problem. Those clean misses by Odiombo, and they have some problems other places on this offensive line, but clearly as Odiombo grows, that's when this offensive line will get better.
3rd and 1. Carson, gain of 10, picks up the 1st down. Garson drafted not only in the 7th round, but he was their second choice in the 7th round. He was 5 picks before the end of the draft.
Watch Reed Odiombo here on this one, over on this side, coming down and making that double team, knocking to the ground the defensive lineman Hassan Ridgeway.
From the 45, they put Lacey in the game, fake it to him, and a slant for a gain of about 5. Ball will be spotted at midfield as the catch is made there by Darbo. Amara Darbo, a rookie out of Michigan, picked him in the 3rd round.
Yeah, but you're going to see the ball come out quickly for Russell Wilson, and then when they want to throw it down the field, the guy I felt a little sorry for, though, has been Jimmy Graham. Everybody assumed once he got here, boy, they were going to red zone and throw a lot of touchdown passes, and it really has not happened.
Play action. Wilson is going to go down, and the ball's going to come loose, and it winds up in Wilson's hand, in Luke Wilson's hand, to the 30-yard line. So a near sack. You had Sheard with him. The crowd is chanting Luke for Luke Wilson.
And Russell Wilson's trying to get the line of scrimmage around the play.
The first quarter is over. They can look at it anyway. End of the first quarter, 3-2 Seattle.
You and I had a fight recently.
Did I win?
No, I won. Easily.
Doesn't sound right.
Hela, the goddess of death, has invaded Asgard.
I'm going to stop her.
Alone?
No, I'm putting together a team. He's a fighter.
Has this team got a name?
Revenges.
Revenges?
We don't have to have a name. We could have no name.
Thor Ragnarok. Get tickets now. Go!
Visit your Acura dealer for 1.9% APR financing for well-qualified buyers on the 2018 TLX.
Bridgestone Drive Guard tires are engineered to come through in the clutch. Let's go! And NFL coach John Gruden is going to help us prove it.
I got this. Okay, tires. If you take a hit, you gotta get back up.
John?
You better kick it up a notch and get us home. There's always gonna be nails on the road to victory, but you keep on going.
Actually, Drive Guard tires can take a puncture and drive up to 50 miles to safety.
50 miles?
Yep.
Guess my pep talk worked.
Sure.
Lucky for me, there's some great golf here in the Carolinas. Whether you golf or not, Geico could help you score some great savings on car insurance. Whoa! Oh, all in one.
Go to geico.com today.
T-Mobile's Unlimited now includes Netflix on us. That's right, Netflix on us. Another reason why T-Mobile is America's best unlimited network.
Introducing Wendy's new Giant Junior Bacon Cheeseburger.
It's a Giant Junior?
Yeah, it's a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger with double the fresh, never frozen beef, bacon, and cheese. So it's made a big name for itself. For a limited time, get the Giant JBC meal for just $5.
So we're back to start the second quarter. This is going to wind up as a sack. So instead of a first down, it looked like he got in the pass away to Luke Wilson, but his knee is down here. So Pagano has to challenge. This will be his second challenge, but he's going to win this one, which means he still has one more. But 2 challenges, both are going to be successful. Brad Allen will give us the call in a moment, but it's going to be 3rd down and 8 when the second quarter begins. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya on Sunday Night Football. 3-2 Seahawks to this point.
And the guy who's having a monster first quarter is Jabal Sheard. Maybe you say that about Chuck Pagano too. He has to be thrilled to come out and lose a second center to go with your young quarterback and to have it 3-2 in the first quarter. We've seen so many teams, good teams, come in here with experienced quarterbacks and get avalanched in the first quarter against Seattle. And for him to come out 3-2, I think he's feeling good.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field has been changed as the quarterback was down prior to tossing the ball. Therefore, it will be 3rd down from the 47-yard line to begin the second quarter.
And it'll be 3rd down and 8, and it's clear cut.
Watch Sheard here once again. He has been in the backfield. He has been making people miss, that time pushing Luke Wilson around and scooped and made the play. And he has been a major upgrade. He and John Simon on the outside of this defense. And then, of course, they upgraded, spending big money, really, to get some guys, Jonathan Hankins over here, and Sheard, and Simon, and Bostic, and Margus Hunt. So they've spent some money to get tougher on the defensive line, and it's paying dividends.
Yep. Well, the Seahawks, 28th in the league on third and what would be long, 7 or more. The situation they will be confronting right here. And Chuck Pagano telling us last night, Chris, that you have to weather the storm. You can't get avalanched, as you put it, early on and be down 14-0 within 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck Pagano is a fan of football. He's watched enough games to know exactly what's going on in this place. And so it'll be, I think he's happy. I think he's really happy. And now he just has to sort of get his new center settled down a little bit. Adam Redmond, work on that on the sideline. And he's got to be excited with the fact that he's hanging in there.
Well, the Seahawks again huddled about 2 yards from the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 8 from the 47-yard line. Trips to the right. 3 receivers bunched that way. Wilson chased again. You got a flag, and that's going to be caught at the 40-yard line, but the flag is where holding normally is called. Lockett makes the catch. Brad Allen will go back to the microphone.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Jermaine Ifedi, the right tackle.
You're going to see it right here. And as happens, Al, we've seen it a lot. I think we all understand that offensive linemen hold, right? I mean, they reach inside and they grab the jersey and they hold. And it's legal because you can't see it being tucked. The minute the quarterback escapes out to the right-hand side, what happens? Well, that jersey stretches away and the officials see it.
Offensive lineman hold. Hold on, I'm going to write that down here.
It's pretty deep.
Okay. 3rd down and 18. 3 wide. Dime defense here. 4-man rush. Wilson fires, caught 50-yard line, but short of the 1st down. Tyler Lockett broke his leg toward the end of last season. Making the grab, it'll be 4th and 5.
Well, and what happens is you end up wasting your top receiver in that kind of situation. Watch Jimmy Graham on the outside. They've got a chip with him to help the tackle, so there he is. But basically, he's out of the route now as far as trying to pick up that 1st down.
John Ryan, 12 years in the league, 10 of those here. The punt. Quan Bray back to receive it. Some backspin on it. Fair caught at the 15-yard line. Minute and 15 into the 2nd quarter. Tonight's aerial coverage. Beautiful shot brought to you by Geico. Great weekend here in Seattle.